Breakcore, a fixation for the unfocused, has recently become extremely popular, with both praise and dismissiveness thrown its way. With breakcore, you either get it or you don't. And if you do get it, there's one infamous artist you've probably heard along the way. And whilst they aren't specifically breakcore, they do fall under that umbrella. Shrouded in mystery and online controversy, Sewerslvt is an incredibly polarizing figure within the umbrella of the breakcore community. But before we can get into that, let me set the scene real quick. Edginess. Due to the difference in internet culture, shock value and subversiveness were very popular, which led to memes being almost the inverse of what they are now. So it makes sense to why Sad Boy Sheldon, Sewerslvt's first internet presence, would have an album titled That. Beyond the name, the album itself, combining sounds of death grips and memes, wasn't that good. Sad Boy Sheldon released 6 albums. 2 of them were good and the others not so much. However, those skills transferred into their new alias, which would use the influences of Death Grips, Gore Shit, Danny Brown, and many more to make more serious music. Now, with the serious music, it's pretty dark. It's hard to tell what's playing a part and what our true feelings are. With track names like Just Keeps Getting Worse, Doesn't It? Or Of Course It's the World's Fault I'm Fucked Up, it's clear some of the edginess from Sad Boy Sheldon has translated over. However, removing the parody created standout tracks like 40 Days in Hell and Back. Sewer would release more albums with not much fanfare. They had a small following, but it wasn't like anything it was today. What I think separates Sewerslvt from other artists is their view on life. A lot of these track names and the albums that contain them are incredibly nihilistic. As they created more music, it was clear they wanted to show the dark part of the internet. Sampling cult classic shows like Moral Laurel, it created an atmosphere that was different than most music out today.
You bet I did. You bet.
And I'd do it again, too. I'd do it over and over again.
That's my life, over and 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 over.
Okay, Clay, I get the point.
No, you.
Now, I'm not gonna act like I know anything about music theory, but to me, this sounds pretty good, and it really achieves the vibe it was going for. In early 2020, Sewerslvt was on a roll, releasing her second best album, Draining Love Story, and added to that, Pretty Cunt and Mr. Kill Myself started to gain a lot of traction. But the monkey paw has a strange way of granting desires. With the skyrocketing popularity came the brewing controversy. Sewerslvt is no stranger to controversy, as said again with that album name. But as her music started to venture into a more general audience, people had a few more questions. Like, firstly, what the fuck is up with their album covers? A lot of it, especially the album Child Sacrifice, wasn't just regularly edgy. Sewer's talked about wanting to use their music to reflect the disturbing world before, but using imagery of child gore is way too fucking far. And Sewer's commissioning of lolly stuff also isn't right at all. And finally, Sewerslvt's persona Junko was based on Junko Futura, which I really don't want to get into. All you need to know is that the story is probably one of the most horrific cases I've ever read about. And if you want to search for it yourself, go ahead, but don't say I didn't warn you. Sewer was fascinated by this case and decided to name her persona after her. I can understand why people can take offense to it, but that's sort of the point. It's a vulgar display. It's a reminder of that pain and suffering. These days I separate the connection. I don't think about it too much. Evidence in the fact that he used Junko with a V and Junko. But much like all my art, it references to something morbid and vile to some degree. Or at least it was before Draining Love Story. I find a lot of similarities to Sewerslvt and WorldCorp. Mostly their use of gory or disturbing media to get attention, or to fit the character and atmosphere they're going for. And also, similar to WorldCorp, Sewerslvt has also disappeared. But where WorldCorp disappeared with a fizzle and a silence, Sewerslvt disappeared with one last project. We had good times together, don't forget that. It's Sewerslvt's best project. It's an ode to a lost love, one that tragically passed away. The track titles, especially considering this is our last project, are more concerning. I don't think an album like this can be described in words or speech. It's something you feel. It encapsulates the rushing feel of your head. It's erratic, slow, somber, and much more. One word to describe this would be emotional, and was a fitting tribute to their lost love and their fans. Better than anything you could have asked for. Sewerslvt's music was a mirror into the disturbing world we live in. But if you look in a mirror for too long, it might just end up looking back. With their name tarnished and all hope of new music thrown out the window, I think we shouldn't be asking where Sewerslvt went. More instead if they're okay. Because as of uploading, we still don't know.